The warning sirens echoed through the metal halls of Earth Defense Station Alpha. Kyle Morrison ran down the corridor, his boots making sharp sounds on the floor. He had been waiting for this day his whole life, but now that it was here, his hands were shaking. Kyle, slow down, called Colonel Lisa Hayes as she caught up with him. Her military uniform was perfect, not a single wrinkle. Remember, we are the face of humanity today. We need to stay calm. Kyle stopped and took a deep breath. Through the large windows, he could see the alien ship getting closer to their station. It was huge, maybe 10 times bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ship looked like a giant crystal, glowing with soft blue light. It moved without any sound through the empty space. Have you ever seen anything like that? Asked Dr. Matt Johnson, pressing his face against the window. The scientist's eyes were wide with wonder. The energy readings are off the charts. This technology is hundreds of years ahead of ours. Admiral Jake Sullivan's voice came through the communication system from Earth below. Morrison, are you ready up there? The whole world is watching. Yes, sir, Kyle replied, straightening his diplomatic uniform. We are ready to meet them. The alien ship came to a stop just a few hundred meters from their station. Kyle watched as a smaller craft separated from the main ship. It moved like liquid metal, changing shape as it flew toward their docking bay. Incoming vessel, this is Earth Defense Station Alpha, Lisa spoke into her radio. You are cleared to dock at Bay 7. There was no reply, but the alien craft found the docking bay perfectly. Kyle felt a small shake as the ship connected to their station. Red lights flashed, showing that the docking was complete. Atmosphere is stable, reported a technician. The air is safe to breathe. Kyle, Lisa, and Matt walked to the docking bay. A small crowd of humans waited there, all the most important people from Earth. Everyone was quiet, watching the metal. Door that led to the alien ship. The door opened with a soft hiss. 3 aliens walked through. They were tall, maybe 8 feet high, with long arms and legs. Their skin was pale blue and seemed to glow slightly. They had large eyes that were completely black, no white parts at all. Each alien wore flowing robes that seemed to be made of liquid silver. The alien in the middle stepped forward. When it spoke, the words came from a small device on its chest, not from its mouth. I am Speaker Veltar of the Zephyrian Empire, voice of the Galactic Council. We greet the humans of Earth. Kyle stepped forward, trying to keep his voice steady. Welcome to our station, Speaker Veltar. I am Ambassador Kyle Morrison, representing the United Earth Government. We are honored by your visit. Speaker Veltar's large black eyes studied Kyle for a long moment. We have watched your species for some time, human Kyle Morrison. You have finally reached the level where we can speak to you directly. We are grateful for this opportunity, Kyle said. Humanity has dreamed of meeting other intelligent life for centuries. Yes, Speaker Veltar said, and Kyle thought he heard something like amusement in the translated voice. Your species has many dreams. Some of them are quite violent. Lisa stepped forward. If I may ask, Speaker Veltar, how long have you been watching us? Since your species first split the atom, another alien answered. I am Council Member Zethko. We have seen your wars, your weapons, your expansion into space. The Council has been very concerned about your development. Matt couldn't contain his excitement. You have faster-than-light travel. Your ship technology is amazing. How did you get here so quickly? Dr. Johnson, please, Kyle whispered, but Speaker Veltar held up a long, thin hand. Curiosity is good, but knowledge must be earned, the alien said. This is why we are here. The Galactic Council has decided that humanity is ready to learn its place in the galaxy. Kyle felt something cold in his stomach. Our place? Come. Speaker Valtar said, turning back toward the alien ship. "We will show you wonders beyond your imagination. Then we will discuss the terms of your integration into galactic society." The humans followed the aliens through the doorway. Inside the alien ship, everything was smooth and curved. There were no sharp corners anywhere. The walls glowed with soft light, and the air smelled like flowers after rain. Speaker Veltar led them to a large room filled with floating chairs. The aliens sat in the air as if it was solid, while the humans were given normal chairs that rose from the floor. "For 10,000 years, Speaker Valtar began, the Galactic Council has maintained peace across 47 star systems. We have done this by placing each species in its proper position, according to its nature and abilities." A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing the galaxy with different colored areas. The older, wiser species guide and protect the younger ones. This prevents war, suffering, and the destruction that comes when primitive species gain dangerous technology too quickly. Kyle studied the hologram. Most of the galaxy was colored blue, showing council control. Where would humanity fit in this system? Tier 7. Council member Zefko said, "A protected species. You would remain in your home system under our guidance. In exchange, we offer you medical technology that will end disease and death from aging. We offer energy sources that will power your world forever. Remain in our home system?" Lisa asked, "What about our colonies, our exploration ships?" "They would return," Speaker Veltar said simply. "Tier 7 species are not ready for expansion beyond their birth system. This is for your own protection, and for the protection of others." Kyle felt anger growing in his chest, but he kept his voice calm. "And if we refuse these generous terms?" The room became very quiet. Speaker Veltar's black eyes seemed to grow larger. "No species has ever refused the wisdom of the Council. Those who have been difficult have always seen reason after we demonstrate our commitment to galactic peace." Matt leaned forward. "Demonstrate how?" "We select one city from the species' homeworld," Council member Zefko explained in a matter-of-fact voice. "We remove it completely. This shows our technology and our resolve. After this demonstration, species always choose to accept our protection." Lisa's hand moved toward her weapon, but Kyle caught her arm. His mind was racing. They had always known this moment might come, when humanity would meet a superior alien force. But he had always imagined it would be different. He had imagined equals, not masters. "We will need time to consider your offer," Kyle said carefully. "Of course," Speaker Veltar said, standing up. "We will give you 3 of your days. But understand, the Council's patience is not unlimited. We have schedules to maintain, other species to guide." As the aliens led them back to the docking bay, Kyle's mind was already working. He had to get word to Admiral Sullivan, Earth Head, to be warned. But as they walked, Kyle noticed something. The aliens seemed very sure of themselves, very confident. They acted like this was just another routine task, like they had done this 47 times before. Maybe, Kyle thought, it was time for them to meet a species that wouldn't follow the routine. President Amanda Clark sat at the big table in the emergency meeting room deep under New Geneva. The room had no windows, just bright lights and thick metal walls. Around the table sat the most powerful people on Earth, all looking worried. 3 days, Amanda said, reading the report again. "They gave us 3 days to surrender our freedom." General Ryan Cooper slammed his hand on the table. 47 other species just gave up. Just like that. What kind of people accept slavery so easily? "Smart people who didn't want their cities turned to glass," said Intelligence Director Nicole Grant. Her computer screen showed pictures of the alien ship, still floating near the space station. These aliens have been doing this for 10,000 years. They know what they're doing. Admiral Jake Sullivan pointed to the star map on the wall. Our scouts report more alien ships jumping into the outer system. They're not just here to talk anymore. Amanda looked at each person around the table. These were Earth's best leaders, the people who had guided humanity through wars, disasters, and a long journey to the stars. Now they faced the biggest choice in human history. Options? She asked. We could accept, said Secretary of State William Davis. The medical technology alone would save millions of lives. No more cancer, no more aging. Our children could live forever. As pets, Ryan said angrily. Locked in our own backyard forever. No more exploration, no more growth, no more freedom to choose our own path. Nicole pulled up new information on her screen. I've been analyzing their communications. They're talking about us like we're children who need to be controlled. One message called us particularly violent mammals that need firm guidance. What? About our colonies? Amanda asked. New Texas, New California, the mining stations in the belt? Jake answered, Captain Bobby Turner on the Defiance is already moving the civilian population from the outer colonies back toward Earth. Commander, Kelly Brooks is preparing the mining stations for evacuation. Evacuation? Ryan asked. What? About Protocol Omega? The room went quiet. Protocol Omega was the most secret plan in human history. Only 12 people in the whole galaxy knew about it. Amanda looked around the table at the faces of people who had spent their whole careers preparing for this day. Jake, Amanda said, is everything in place? The Admiral nodded slowly. Every station, every hidden base, every weapon we've built. Over the last 50 years. It's all ready. The aliens don't know? Nicole asked. They think we're primitive, Jake said with a small smile. They see our cities, our normal military bases, our regular ships. They have no idea what we've really been building out there. William shook his head. This is crazy. These aliens have technology we can't even understand. Their one ship could probably destroy our entire planet. Maybe, Ryan said. Or maybe they're so used to weak species, giving up that they don't know how to fight a real war anymore. Amanda stood up and walked to the star map. The red dots showed where alien ships had appeared in their solar system. But there were also blue dots, lots of them, in places the aliens probably didn't even know existed. Speaker Veltar seemed very confident, she said, almost bored, like this was just another routine job. That could be their weakness, Nicole said. They expect us to fold. They're not prepared for resistance. Amanda's phone buzzed. She looked at the message and felt her blood turn cold. They're moving. 3 more alien ships just appeared. One is heading toward Earth. Through the communication system, Kyle Morrison's voice came from the space station above. Madam President, Speaker Veltar wants to talk to you directly. Put him through, Amanda said. The main screen flickered, then showed the tall alien with the glowing blue skin. His black eyes seemed to stare right through the camera. President Clark, the alien said through his translation device. I hope you have used your time wisely to consider our generous offer. We have been considering it, Amanda said carefully. But we have some questions about the terms. Questions? Speaker Veltar sounded surprised. The terms are not negotiable. They are the same terms offered to every species. Accept protection under Tier 7 status, or face the consequences. Ryan leaned forward. What consequences exactly? General Cooper, I assume, the alien said. You military leaders are always the same, in every species. You think weapons solve everything. Let me show you something. The screen changed to show a view of space. Amanda could see a blue-green planet with white clouds. It looked peaceful and beautiful. This was the homeworld of the Kethran people, Speaker Veltar said. They also asked too many questions. They also thought they could negotiate. Suddenly, a bright light flashed from somewhere off-screen. When the light faded, a huge piece of the planet was gone. Just empty space where a continent used to be. The Kethran became much more reasonable after this demonstration, the alien continued. They are now a very successful Tier 7 species, grateful for our protection. The screen went back to showing Speaker Veltar's face. We do not wish to harm humanity, but the peace of the galaxy must be maintained. You have until sunset on your capital city to decide. The communication ended. The room was completely silent. William was the first to speak, his voice shaking. They can destroy continents. What chance do we have? But Amanda was looking at Jake's face. The Admiral was smiling, actually smiling. Jake, they just made a mistake, he said. A big one. What do you mean? Nicole asked. They showed us their main weapon, Ryan said, understanding. And more importantly, they told us exactly when they planned to use it. Amanda felt something growing in her chest. Not fear, but anger. You're right. They think we're so primitive that they can threaten us like children, and we'll just give up. So what do we do? William asked. Amanda looked around the table one more time. We show them they picked the wrong species to threaten. She pressed a button on the table. All around the world, and on secret bases scattered throughout the solar system, the same message appeared on screens. Protocol Omega is now active. A mining station disguised as a simple asteroid collector. Commander Kelly Brooks smiled as she read the message. Finally, she said to her crew, time to drop the act. The outer shell of the station began to fall away, revealing massive weapon systems and armor plating. Similar transformations were happening throughout the solar system. Humanity's real military power was waking up. Captain Bobby Turner, who had been pretending to evacuate civilians from the outer colonies, opened a secure channel to his fleet. All ships, this is Turner. Stop running and start hunting. Show these aliens what humans do when someone threatens our home. Back in the meeting room under New Geneva, Amanda watched the status reports coming in. 50 years of preparation, 50 years of building secret weapons while pretending to be peaceful explorers. 50 years of getting ready for exactly this moment. Madam President, Jake said, we're ready. Amanda nodded. In a few hours, the aliens would expect an answer. They would expect humanity to surrender, just like 47 other species had done. They were going to be very surprised. The sunset painted the sky red over New Geneva. Speaker Veltar stood on the bridge of his ship, looking down at the blue planet below. In just a few minutes, the humans would give their answer. He was not worried about what that answer would be. Status report, he commanded. All weapon systems ready, reported his tactical officer. Target selected. The human city called New York. Population, 12 million. Good, Veltar said. The demonstration should be quite effective. Begin charging the planetary bombardment. Cannon. On Earth, President Amanda Clark stood in a different room now, one with thick windows looking up at the sky. She could see the alien ships hanging above them like bright stars. Soon, those ships would learn that humanity had been preparing for this day for a very long time. All stations report ready, Admiral Jake Sullivan said beside her. Commander Martinez confirms the Sol defense grid is online. High above Earth, hidden among what looked like old communication satellites and space junk, Commander Tony Martinez sat in a control chair that humanity's enemies didn't know existed. Around him, his crew worked at stations disguised as broken. Equipment. Grid status? Tony asked. All 300 weapon platforms online, his operator replied. Stealth fields holding. They still think we're just space trash. Tony smiled. The aliens had been so focused on the obvious human ships and stations, that they never noticed the real defenses. For 50 years, every piece of space junk that humans had left in orbit was actually a hidden weapon. Captain Phillips, what's your status? Tony spoke into his communicator. Deep in the asteroid belt, Captain Danny Phillips looked at his fleet of ships. To anyone watching, they looked like normal mining vessels and research ships. But those innocent-looking hulls hid the most advanced weapons humanity had ever built. "We're in position," Danny replied. 27 ships ready to move. The aliens think we're just miners hiding behind rocks. On Earth's surface, Lieutenant Sarah Adams checked her console in a bunker that looked like a weather station. Around the world, hundreds of similar bunkers were hidden in mountains, deserts, and under the ocean. Each one contained weapons that could reach anywhere in the solar system. "Ground-based systems ready," Sarah reported. "Quantum tunneling missiles armed and targeted." Back on the alien ship, Speaker Veltar received a communication from Earth. "President Amanda." Clark's face appeared on his screen. "Speaker Veltar," she said, "humanity has made its decision." "Excellent," the alien replied. "I trust you have chosen wisdom over foolishness." Amanda's face was calm, but her eyes were hard. "We choose freedom? Freedom?" Veltar was confused. "I do not understand." The terms were clear. Accept protection or face consequences. "We understand the terms," Amanda said, "and we reject them completely. Humanity will not be caged, controlled, or conquered. We will not surrender our independence to you or anyone else." Veltar felt something he had not experienced in a very long time. Surprise. "You would sacrifice your entire species for pride?" "We would sacrifice anything for liberty," Amanda replied. "And we're not as helpless as you think." "Impossible," Veltar said. "We have studied your technology. Your weapons are primitive. Your ships are slow and weak. You cannot hope to stand against the Galactic Council." Amanda smiled, and it was not a nice smile. "You studied what we wanted you to study. You saw what we wanted you to see. Admiral Sullivan, please show our guests what humanity has really been building." On his space station, Admiral Jake Sullivan pressed a single button. All across the solar system, the signal went out. "All units, this is Sullivan. Execute Protocol Omega. Show them who we really are." Commander Tony Martinez was the first to act. "All platforms, drop stealth. Lock on to alien vessels. Fire when ready." 300 hidden weapon platforms suddenly appeared around Earth, their invisibility fields shutting off. The alien tactical officer screamed as his sensors were flooded with new contacts. "Impossible," he shouted. "Where did they come from?" The answer came in the form of energy beams and missiles. Humanity's hidden fleet opened fire all at once. The alien ships, caught completely by surprise, found themselves under attack from every direction. Speaker Veltar watched in shock as his shields flared under the assault. "How is this possible? Their technology is centuries behind ours." But Captain Danny Phillips was already moving with his asteroid fleet. The mining ships shed their disguises, revealing sleek warships armed with weapons the aliens had never seen before. "This is Phillips to all units," he said over the radio. "Target their engines first. We want them trapped here when the real fun starts." The quantum tunneling missiles launched from Earth's surface, appearing inside the alien ships without. Warning. Lieutenant Sarah Adams watched her screens as the enemy vessels began to explode from within. "Direct hits on targets 7 through 12, she reported. "Enemy shields useless against internal detonation." On the flagship, Speaker Veltar stumbled as another explosion rocked his ship. "Status report. Shields failing." His officer replied, "They're attacking us from inside somehow. And their weapons. They're using technology we don't understand." Dr. Rachel Stone, working from a hidden laboratory under the Rocky Mountains, smiled as she watched the battle. For 20 years, she had been developing humanity's secret weapon, technology that could manipulate space and time itself. "Wormhole disruptor ready," she said into her communicator. "Any alien ship that tries to run will find themselves stranded." More alien ships appeared, jumping in from other systems to help. But as soon as they arrived, Rachel activated her device. Space itself twisted around the enemy vessels, collapsing their escape routes. "We're trapped," the alien commander reported to Veltar. "The humans have found a way to block our jump drives." Commander Pete Harrison, leading another hidden human fleet, emerged from behind Jupiter's moons. His ships had been pretending to be research stations for years, studying the gas giant while secretly preparing for war. "This is Harrison," he broadcast on all frequencies, making sure the aliens could hear. "Any Council vessel that wants to surrender should power down weapons and prepare to be boarded. Anyone who wants to keep fighting will be destroyed." Speaker Veltar could not believe what was happening. In less than an hour, the humans had gone from helpless primitives to a force that was destroying his fleet. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds were being torn apart by weapons they didn't understand. "How?" he whispered. "How did they hide all of this?" President Amanda Clark's voice came through the communication system again. "You spent so much time watching our cities and our obvious military bases that you never looked closely at anything else. Every mining station, every research vessel, every satellite was actually part of our defense network. But your technology," Veltar said desperately. "We scanned your ships. Your weapons were primitive." "Those were our old ships," Amanda replied. "The ones we wanted you to see. While you were watching them, we were building these." She gestured, and new contacts appeared on Veltar's sensors. Massive human warships, emerging from hidden bases throughout the solar system. Admiral Jake Sullivan took over the communication. For 50 years, every human colony, every mining operation, every exploration mission had a secret purpose. We weren't just exploring space or gathering resources. We were building the largest military network in the galaxy. As if to prove his point, weapon platforms hidden on asteroids throughout the belt opened fire. Secret bases on the moons of Saturn launched fighter squadrons. Even Mars, which the aliens thought was just a farming colony, revealed massive missile batteries. Speaker Veltar watched his mighty fleet being torn apart by an enemy that was supposed to be helpless. For the first time in his long life, he felt something that the other 47 species must have felt when the Council arrived at their worlds. He felt fear. "This is impossible," he said again, but his voice was weak now. "Species don't fight back. They accept protection. They always accept protection." "Maybe," Admiral Sullivan said, "you've just never met a species worth fighting." Captain Chris Walker stood on the bridge of the human warship U's Freedom as it jumped into enemy space for the first time. Behind him followed 50 more human ships, each one built in secret over the past decades. They were no longer defending their home. Now they were taking the fight to the enemy. "Navigation, confirm our position," Chris ordered. "We are in the Rigel system, sir," his navigator replied. "Council supply depot dead ahead, just like intelligence said." Chris smiled. The aliens had spent so much time preparing to attack Earth that they never thought humans might strike back. Their supply lines were completely undefended. Weapons. Target their fuel storage facilities. Let's see how long their fleet can fight without energy. The human ships opened fire, destroying the alien supply depot in minutes. It had been built to last forever, protected only by the belief that no one would dare attack the mighty Council. Back in human space, Major Beth Thompson sat in a room full of computers and screens. She was not a soldier who fought with guns, but her weapons were just as deadly. Her fingers moved across the keyboard as she broke into the Council's communication networks. "I'm in," she told her team. Full access to their command systems. What Beth found made her very excited. The Council had been lying to everyone, including themselves. Their messages showed the truth about the 47 species they claimed to protect. General Cooper, you need to see this, Beth said over the radio. The Council isn't protecting these species. They're enslaving them, and most of them hate it. General Ryan Cooper read the intercepted messages on his screen. Species after species begging for help, planning secret rebellions, trying to break. Free from Council control. The Galactic Empire was not as strong as it appeared. Can we contact these species? Ryan asked. Already working on it, Beth replied. Sending them everything we have about the Council's real plans and our successful resistance. On a hidden space station near Pluto, Dr. Rachel Stone was working on humanity's most dangerous weapon. Her quantum technology could do more than just block alien wormholes. It could destroy them completely. Target confirmed, she said into her communicator. Council reinforcement fleet is approaching through the Vega wormhole. Do it, President Amanda Clark ordered from her command center. Rachel pressed a button, and space itself screamed. The artificial wormhole that connected Vega to human space collapsed, trapping the alien reinforcement fleet light years away from the battle. Wormhole destroyed, Rachel reported. It will take them months to build a new one. But the humans were not finished. Commander Pete Harrison had discovered something even better than destroying Council supply lines. He had found their prison worlds. This is Harrison to Earth Command, he said from his ship near the Antares system. I'm looking at a planet full of Tauran people. According to our intelligence, they were pacified by the Council 50 years ago. The Taurans had once been a proud warrior species. The Council had beaten them in war and forced them to give up their weapons and their freedom. But they had never given up their anger. Commander Harrison opened a communication channel to the planet below. Tauran people, this is the human fleet. We are here to offer you freedom. The response came quickly. A Tauran voice, speaking broken English. Humans? You fight the Council? We thought you were legend. We're real, Harrison replied. And we're winning. Do you want to join us? The answer was immediate. Yes, give us weapons. Give us ships. We fight. Within hours, the prison planet had become a rebel base. The Taurans, freed from their chains, began attacking Council facilities throughout their system. Their warrior spirit, suppressed for decades, exploded back to life. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. The Nexus Confederacy, forced into slavery by the Council, rose up when they learned humans were fighting back. The Meridian Alliance, split apart by Council politics, reunited to join the rebellion. Back on Earth, President Amanda Clark watched the reports coming in. The war was spreading faster than anyone had expected. But she knew this was just the beginning. Admiral Sullivan, she said, what's the status of our main fleet? Ready for the big push, Jake replied. Captain Walker has cleared the supply lines. Commander Harrison has half the galaxy in revolt. It's time to hit their capital. The Council homeworld of Zephyria had never been attacked. For 10,000 years, it had been the center of galactic power. Its orbital defenses were the strongest. In the galaxy, protected by technology from dozens of conquered species. But the humans were not planning a normal attack. Dr. Stone, Amanda asked, can your quantum weapons reach their homeworld? Already targeted? Rachel replied from her hidden laboratory. One quantum bomb delivered through a micro wormhole. Their capital will never see it coming. But Amanda held up her hand. Wait, before we destroy them, let's give them the same choice they gave us. On the bridge of his damaged flagship, Speaker Veltar received an unexpected communication. President. Amanda Clark appeared on his screen, but she was not calling from Earth. She was broadcasting from a human ship in orbit around Zephyria itself. Speaker Veltar, Amanda said calmly. Humanity has made a decision about your homeworld. Veltar could barely speak. Impossible. How did you get past our defenses? The same way you got past ours, Amanda replied. We didn't. We went around them. Dr. Stone's quantum technology lets us appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Behind Amanda, Veltar could see human warships surrounding his planet. Ships that had not been there moments before, but were now targeting every major city on Zephyria. You have stolen our technology, Veltar accused. We developed our own, Amanda corrected. While you were busy conquering other species, we were busy learning. Every species you defeated taught us something new about your methods. Admiral Sullivan appeared beside Amanda on the screen. We offer you the same terms you offered us. Surrender unconditionally and accept human protection, or face the consequences. Protection? Veltar was confused. You would enslave us? No. Amanda said firmly. We would free you. Free you from the burden of ruling over people who hate you. Free you from the constant fear of rebellion. Free you from the endless wars needed to maintain your empire. And if we refuse? Amanda's expression did not change. Then we will demonstrate our commitment to galactic freedom. On the planet below, millions of Zephyrians looked up at the human ships above them. For the first time in their species' history, they were the ones being threatened. They were the ones facing destruction if they did not surrender. We will consider your offer, Veltar said quietly. You have 1 hour, Amanda replied. But Speaker Veltar, understand this. We are not the Council. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to free it. Every species that has been forced into slavery, every world that has been conquered, every people that has lost their independence, we're going to give it all back. The communication ended, leaving Veltar alone with his thoughts. Around him, his officers waited for orders. But what orders could he give? The humans had done the impossible. They had turned the galaxy against its rulers. On his console, more reports came in. The Tauran fleets were attacking Council bases. The Nexus Confederacy had declared independence. 3 more species had joined the human alliance. The empire that had ruled for 10,000 years was collapsing, and it had taken the humans less than a week to destroy it. Veltar realized that the humans had been right about one thing. The Council had never faced a species that was truly ready to fight for freedom. Every other race had eventually chosen safety over liberty, but humans, it seemed, would rather die free than live as slaves. And now they were teaching the rest of the galaxy to make the same choice. 6 months after the first alien ship had appeared in human space, Speaker Veltar sat in a small room aboard the human flagship UES Liberty. He was no longer a ruler of the galaxy. He was a prisoner, watching through a window as everything he had known was torn down and rebuilt. Admiral Kevin Barnes entered the room, carrying 2 cups of coffee. The human offered one to Veltar, who accepted it with his long, thin fingers. How do you drink this? Veltar asked, sniffing the strange liquid. Carefully, Kevin replied with a smile. It's an acquired taste. Like freedom, I suppose. Outside the window, they could see the construction of New Geneva Station, a massive space platform that would serve as the headquarters for the Free Worlds Alliance. Ships from dozens of species worked together, building something that had never existed before. A government based on choice, not conquest. I still do not understand, Veltar said. You could rule the galaxy now. Your weapons are stronger than ours. Your technology is more advanced. Why do you give power away instead of taking it? Kevin sat down across from the alien. Because ruling people who don't want to be ruled is not freedom. It's just another kind of slavery for both the ruler and the ruled. Through the communication system, they could hear reports from across the galaxy. Captain Chris Walker was leading a joint human-Tauran fleet to help the Calvani people rebuild their destroyed homeworld. Major Beth Thompson was working with former council species to create new trade agreements based on cooperation instead of force. The Meridian Alliance has voted to join the Free Worlds, an officer reported. That makes 37 member species now. Veltar shook his head. 37 species, all working together without a central authority to control them. It should be chaos. It should be war. Sometimes it is chaotic, Kevin admitted. Freedom is messy. People argue, they disagree, they make mistakes. But they also learn, they grow, and they choose their own path. On the planet New Hope, formerly a council prison world, Commander Pete Harrison watched as Tauran engineers worked alongside human scientists to build new cities. The Taurans, free for the first time in 50 years, had chosen to use their warrior skills to protect other species instead of conquering them. Harrison to liberty, Pete reported. Construction on schedule. The Taurans are natural builders when they're not forced to be soldiers. Dr. Rachel Stone had established a new laboratory on Mars, where she was teaching other species about quantum technology. But instead of keeping it secret, she was sharing it freely with anyone who wanted to learn. The beautiful thing about science, she told her mixed species class, is that it belongs to everyone. Knowledge should never be hoarded by one group. Her students included Zephyrians, who had once served the Council, Taurans who wanted to rebuild their civilization, and dozens of other species who were finally free to pursue their own interests. Colonel Maria Rodriguez oversaw the new trade. Networks that were replacing the Council's forced tribute system. Instead of demanding resources from weaker species, the Free Worlds Alliance operated on mutual benefit. Trade Route 7 is now operational, she reported. The Nexus Confederacy is trading their artwork for Calvani technology, and both sides are profiting. But the real symbol of the new galaxy was Captain Joey Mitchell and his ship, the U.E.'s Pathfinder. His crew included humans, Taurans, Zephyrians, and members of 6 other species. Together, they were exploring regions of space that the Council had forbidden anyone to enter. Mitchell to all stations. Joey broadcast from the edge of the galaxy. We found something amazing out here. A whole cluster of star systems with no intelligent life, just waiting for anyone who wants to start fresh. Kyle Morrison, the diplomat who had first met the aliens, now worked as Earth's ambassador to the Free Worlds Alliance. He often thought about how different things might have been if humanity had simply accepted the Council's offer. We would have lived forever, he told his aide, Lisa Hayes, as they walked through New Geneva Station. No disease, no aging, no want, and no growth, Lisa replied. No exploration, no challenges, no chance to become something better than we were. They stopped at an observation deck where they could see ships from dozens of worlds working together. A Tauran battle cruiser shared space with a Nexus science vessel. Zephyrian merchants traded with human colonists. Former enemies had become partners. Do you think it will last? Lisa asked. Kyle watched a group of young beings from different species playing together in the station's recreation area. Children who would grow up thinking it was normal to have friends from other worlds, who would never know what it was like to live under the rule of a single galactic empire. It will last as long as people remember that freedom is worth fighting for, he said, back on the Liberty. Admiral Barnes was showing Veltar the final reports from the war. The Council's military had been completely disbanded. Their prison worlds had been liberated. Their forced tribute systems had been replaced with voluntary trade. What will happen to my people? Veltar asked. Whatever they choose, Barnes replied. Some Zephyrians have joined the Alliance. Others have chosen to return to their homeworld and rebuild their society. A few are even working with Dr. Stone to develop new technologies. And me? Barnes looked at the former speaker seriously. That depends on you. You can return to Zephyria and live quietly. You can work with the Alliance to help other former Council species adjust to freedom. Or you can spend the rest of your life trying to rebuild an empire that no longer exists. Veltar was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. In all the records of the Council, there is no mention of a species like yours. Most beings choose safety over freedom, comfort over risk, certainty over possibility. Maybe, Barnes said. But maybe they never had a real choice before. Maybe they just needed someone to show them that fighting for freedom was possible. Veltar nodded slowly. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps the Council's greatest mistake was believing that all species were the same. A communication came through from the bridge. Admiral, we're receiving a message from the Outer Rim. 3 new species have made contact and want to know about joining the Alliance. Barnes smiled. See? Freedom is contagious. Once people see that it's possible to live free, they want it. For themselves. As the months passed, the Free Worlds Alliance grew stronger. Not through conquest or force, but through example. Species that had lived under Council rule for generations were rediscovering what it meant to make their own choices. Some chose to remain isolated, rebuilding their cultures in peace. Others joined together in new confederations. Still others, inspired by humanity's example, set out to explore the unknown reaches of space. President Amanda Clark, now serving as the first elected leader of the Alliance Council, often reflected on the decision that had changed everything. When the aliens had demanded submission, humanity could have chosen safety. They could have accepted protection and lived comfortable, controlled lives. Instead, they had chosen conflict. They had chosen risk. They had chosen freedom, and in doing so, they had given that choice to the entire galaxy. In the end, Veltar did make his decision. He chose to work with the Alliance, helping former Council species understand their new freedom. It was hard work, teaching people to think for themselves after generations of being told what to do. But it was good work. Important work. And for the first time in his long life, Veltar was doing it by choice. The galaxy was free, and it was beautiful.